Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday used to be fantastic, and unfortunately, Taco Tuesdays have kind of disappeared. Although back there 2 weeks ago, May 29th, we had a good one. Tuesday. So here we go. It's Tuesday, and we are heading into a very weird Wednesday. Being weird that we get CPI tomorrow morning before the open, and then you have the FOMC meeting in the afternoon. Now, I've sent you out the probably the greatest FOMC prep that you could ever want, which tells you don't do anything until 2 o'clock on Wednesday. But we got CPI coming out tomorrow morning, and that's why it's a little bit weird. So let's just hash over, actually regurgitate the same thing we've been talking about for the better part of 4 or 5 days now, which is this SPX going nowhere. And yesterday we got a green day. Green day. Okay, so like I said, going into the weekend, 2 red closes. That kind of sucks. But yeah, we got our green day yesterday. They broke that 53.60 on the close. So that 53.55, 53.60 bread and butter that had worked 3 days in a row, then all of a sudden got fucking thrown under the bus yesterday. We didn't get a new high, but we did sit there and close above 55. But we still haven't gone anywhere. In fact, as we shared there yesterday, yesterday was the fourth lowest volume of the year over on SPY, and all four of these low volumes, with Thursday last week being the lowest volume in well over a year, all coming place over here over the last week and a half. Started there on May 28th, June 4th, June 6th, and then yesterday. So what that says is very simply is, yes, it's very easy to grind upward because there is no volume, but it also tells you that there's nobody buying this stuff right now. And tomorrow, CPI, tomorrow, FOMC, that'll change everything. And we will see when that comes out tomorrow. So anyway, here we are trending over here, closing in the 53.50, 53.60 range for 4 days in a row. Over on the SPX, again, looking at that martingale 450 credit, 53.35, 53.30s, went into the weekend at 3, went up to 450 very obviously. And once again, you are not going to break down below 53.30. 53.30 is your absolute rock hard bottom. You are not getting through that no matter what until you get through it. And until you get through it, all you're doing is taking a chance that you are going to get through it. Over on the QQQs, again, no dips below that 460 level, although it's starting to get a little bit squishy down there. And you did get your green close yesterday. Nothing at all. No plus 1%, minus 1%, nothing. And we're going into CPI, and we're going into the FOMC with everything inside of QQQ. IWM showing some nice cracks. You've had now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1% days over the last 6 days. And you cracked down below 202, and you cracked down below 200. So you are starting to get some cracks, and I'll show you a little bit on that in a minute. But I did not put this up. I'm going to have to review it or reset it. And God, I know, when you waste, 35 seconds of somebody's time on a day of the week, they get all pissy and moany about it. So yesterday I sent you out a couple of emails. I sent you out come on, what are you doing? The NVIDIA stock split chart talking about 97. And I also sent you out the Apple chart with Apple having yesterday big event. Into the failure zone again. Right there was 197.75 at the time of sending this out. Got a little bit higher, top 3 weight. Like I said, I am not issuing any alerts on because of it being in QQQ, and I don't want any of those new members who aren't really sure how it all start getting confused. But I did throw out your credit spread there, the 202.50, 200s. Why not? 75 cents to $1. I did see the SPX scalper, Nancy, jumped in it immediately right there at the open yesterday. July 19th, 185 puts on Apple. Bring on to the charts now, with this being the chart that you were familiar with, and now week to date 5 minute, and see how Apple do. Let's go ahead and show some extended periods. From 197.97, you're already down here at 191.48, and you still have a long ways to go. But with this being a 2 point gap down, already down 6 points from where we began over here on Monday. Yeah, she's going to be up a little bit better than 100%. She's still got another month left on those contracts. Now, I'll bring you back to the daily because there was a little bit of chart porn yesterday. And what I mean by chart porn is I had NVIDIA up on my chart on my screen, to just going through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as to where we are right now. And you got a fake print after hours on NVIDIA, 195.95 on the daily. Now, when you come over onto any other time frame, here's your 30-day, here's your 90-day, here's your 180-day, here's your 360. Doesn't matter. That print's not there, but that print was there on the daily. Now, a lot of new guys are going to say, does that mean that NVIDIA is going to 195.95? Well, I can show you some fake prints down below 400 over on SPY from October, from November, and here we are with SPY up in the 520s. So, no, all it is it's an anomaly, but it is something to be worthy of knowing about. So, over on NVIDIA, bring it on to a 5-day, having adjusted. And as you can see here, as the SPX has gone nowhere, same thing with NVIDIA. You have gone absolutely nowhere since that move on Thursday to go put that 1250, whatever it was, 1250, 1250, 55. And then you got your stock split. You've gone nowhere, 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 nowhere. You're right here on the 200 extension. Come on to a wider time frame, and that was why I was showing it on the NVIDIA chart. You've got your gap to be filled from back there last week. You've got another gap over here, and everything is consolidated over here on that 97. 97 being back here May 22, only a couple weeks ago. But that's where everything is consolidated into as far as from a. So if you want to go out on want to go out there and buy some time, go out there and play around with some of their options rather than with the QQQ, even though NVIDIA's one of the top 3 weights in the QQQ together with Apple. By all means, feel free, but 97, that's your target zone. So bring on to the VIX. The VIX crushed the VIX on Monday. Oof. Got your gap up on Monday. Like I said, you typically do tend to gap up on Mondays. And here we are trading in the 12s. There's no credit out there for VX spreads. Tough to get credit. But we're going into CPI and we're going into FOMC. So there is a lot to be said. And until the VIX is up and above 14, there's absolutely nothing to be aggressively bearish on the short term. That's just the way it is from my point of view on the VIX. Anything that we're looking at it being a quasi dip. That's about it. SPX 4 days. Move up, bang, and now we have gone nowhere Thursday, Friday, and Monday. 3 days in a row of having gone nowhere. But as you see, 53.30 being that low there from midday over there on June 5th. 53.30 is the bottom. And until that bottom gets broken down below, there's nothing to discuss. So on the weekend and all the other spots down below it. Come over onto the SPX with what I view, and again, the same thing. 53.30 right there. Is that the same chart? That is the same chart, you stupid motherfucker. Right there. So from a bullish point of view, with 50 still holding on, we can call this a 3. We can call this shallow 4. And if this is going to break out, like I said, there's a plausible of getting up into the 5400s. I am not buying that view, and I am not seeing that view. CPI, FOMC tomorrow. So I'll bring you over onto the components that make the Dow Jones. Dow looking at a 15-day, 30-minute. The 50-day and the 100-day are bearishly crossing as we speak. Big view on this is it has completed its A move. Its B move is also complete. And the C move to the downside would take it back to where the all-time highs were back in 2022, which would bring the SPX into context 48.18. You're not getting SPX 40, but that's where your is. 50-day, 100-day are right there, ready to cross over. So again, watching this very closely, looking for it to possibly test going negative on the year yet again. IWM, exact same thing. 50-day and 100-day are not yet crossing over, but they will be very soon. And having gotten down below 202, now down into the 200 range, a breakdown below 199.40, the 2024 open would start to open that 196.40 yet again. And then we're possibly looking at that 200-day moving average. So I leave you with the QQQ because everything's inside the QQQ. And as of right now, all that we're looking at is the bullish possibility of 468, 470. That's what's there. Until we get a breakdown below 460, that's what we have to look at. That's what we have to consider. And I don't know how in the hell you are going to get it up there. But hey, man, I live around 70-year-old guys that get it up all the time. So 460 is the breaking point. Until you can get down below 460, there's nothing to talk about. Then you start testing down here at that 455. 455 being your gap to be filled from back there last week. So you get down below 455, you have a very strong possibility that you are starting something and getting it going. And until then, all that we're looking at is going into CPI tomorrow. CPI, I will put there into your email so that you have an idea as to what it is, because the move typically takes place prior to the open, and it hasn't been very volatile until February. February, March, April, and May, decent volatility. Decent. That's it. You had a 54-point gap down over there in February. You had a 42-point gap down over here in April. May, March, 16-point gap ups, pretty decent days, both of them closing plus 40 points above the previous open. And as you see here on these gap downs, they're not really closing that far down from where they opened, but they are closing very significantly far from where they closed the previous day. Same thing that you had over here in January. Weekday, 9 points, 56-point range. This is going back to January. Only closed down 12 points, down 4 points on the day. So CPI, because of the way that they fixed the data and it's all fake whatsoever, you're throwing a dart at the wall and hoping that's going to fit. A reality point of view, looking over here at your components, NVIDIA going nowhere for the past couple of days and into the NVIDIA, Apple, and correct very. And then you have, which I don't really shove too much more into Microsoft. Bill Gates already that big of an asshole, even though he doesn't run the company anymore. And you have your Amazon. Amazon, very interestingly, you're seeing them sell down, and then as they need to, then they're throwing it back into Amazon. And that's exactly what you've got going on over here. Ever since last week, you're getting that throw into Amazon. And here you are again, right back up to the failure zone. Amazon, wide view, boom. Here you are with the left shoulder in April. Boom, boom. You're right there. Bring you on to the wider view. You're right up there. So treading water over here in Amazon and looking around at anything else that matters. Google. Again, same thing. Treading water, not really making any kind of production. And I don't know where you're going to be able to get the ether to be able to move this all together collectively to the upside. But you got CPI and you have FOMC tomorrow. And today you have the ability to be one of the kindest, one of the nicest human beings you've ever known, because today is the first day of the rest of your life, and I hope you enjoy it.
And if I measure the voltage at the output, old microwave oven can last much longer than a bright disc. The power would be 400 times less wasted on wires. I have the CD power line. Both of them are exactly at 120 volt AC. Capacitor across the power supply can generate 20 volts, 150. Measuring the AC voltages at the input. Now we'll have high voltages. Obviously there's a wrong connection. To kickstart the arc. Measure the current too. It's not making a good contact. We can safely plug them in. let's turn it on. What did I do? Go. Go. And now I will turn the power bar on. Jesus, I think this is turning much harder now.
Why don't you plug it here?
There you go. You saw what happened. Oh. Let's charge the car battery with these. Now I have to wait till... Let's measure and see where we are. I'm measuring the capacitor voltage and it's around... which plugs to my cell phone and I can play any tone from it, like this. Carefully, they have to cut that tiny bridge. Okay, let's try it out. There is nothing. Is there actually a voltage? Let me measure it for you. You'll see the giant flash capacitor back here. Please join me for the first time to hear how it sounds. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Pity though, I thought I could share my artistic side with you. Let me demonstrate. If I plug it into the... Now if I connect the circuits together, and at the input,